All right, let's get started for the last part of our client storage. Now, any questions on local storage, session storage, anything about the activity? Good? Okay. So as I said, the last part we are going to look at is cookies. Okay. Um, Now again, it's not from the course perspective, from the syllabus perspective, from your homework perspective. You won't be using cookies, but as I said earlier, that I think that as developers we should know, because that's one of the most common used kind of like the concept when it comes to web development. Okay. Now, so what is the difference between cookies, local storage, session storage? Cookies are traditional. By traditional, I mean that's what when JavaScript was there. That was the only available method to store something and do all that stuff. Okay, so cookies took place of both local storage and session storage. Okay, um, local storage, session storage are relatively, I wouldn't say new, but they were like kind of added later on as JavaScript progressed. But initially, cookies has been there for a long time. And this is the reason that every single version of browser has support for cookies. If you go to some super old version of browser of Internet Explorer or something, there might not be support for local storage or session storage. By this what I mean is that those APIs that we looked at won't be available in those browsers. They would give you an error saying, "Oh, I don't know what local storage is." Okay, but cookies has been there forever. So the best bet, or if you want to make sure, maybe you have a website that you come to conclusion that people are going to be running on older browsers that might not have those two APIs. That's where cookies come in. Cookies are supported in almost every browser. I shouldn't even say almost. I think all browsers have cookie support, and it has been there traditionally whenever web development kind of started. Okay, now let's see. Right. So one of the other differences, big difference between cookies and both of those are local storage and session storage are client, like literally tied to your browser. Okay, all the information that you save is going to reside over here. Cookies have an extra feature. Cookies can be transferred to your backend, to your server. That's how people get all the information, what you're searching and everything, because cookies store similar information that you would store over here, but they have extra capability that these cookies, these files, can be automatically transferred from your browser to your backend, to your server. Okay, what do I mean by server? That's where everything is happening. That's where people have written code who analyze what's going on, look through your cookies, and see all these searching algorithms and everything. Those are kind of working data analytics, we call it. Okay. Now with local storage and session storage, there's no inbuilt capability that you can take that information and send it to your server. You would have to write code, make an AJAX call, get that, put it in an object, like do it yourself. But cookies are kind of built in. Those are part of the HTTP protocol. What I mean is when you make a API request, right? You go to URL, you say www.something API slash something. If you open up that request sometime, and you will see response, request, a lot of objects in your Chrome browser, you will see a cookies object over there also. What this means is that the HTTP has built-in support that you can take cookies from a local computer, whoever is accessing your website, and kind of transfer it to you. That's the biggest advantage of cookies. Okay, they kind of come built in with that support. All right, that's why I was saying, I mean, if you don't know how about cookies, I don't know how you're going to spy on people, right? That's how you do it, because they take that data and they transfer it to your backend to whoever. So let's suppose you're working on an API. I'm not saying APIs have cookies or they're storing information. I'm just saying that maybe you work on an API and they're trying to capture some information. Oh, what kind of data are you searching for, right? They would be storing in cookies. And then you guys must have noticed these days the website are showing a prompt saying, hey, we use cookies, accept or decline. Nobody declines. I have never declined, right? Accept, right? That's they I think there are some law changes, and they wanted people to be aware what cookies do. There is a chance that they're going to take your data and kind of transfer it over, and that's how the browsing works. Okay, that's why I think some things change, and that's why every website is showing that prompt.
So if you said no, because I've always wondered this, if you say no to the cookies, will you still be able to use the website, or will it kick you out?
I have, again, that's a good question. I have always thought about it. I have never declined because I'm actually trying to do something, but I don't know. I have not tried. Decline and see what happens. It works fine.
It depends on the website.
Yeah,
it depends
Okay.
on the site.
Some websites might be saying, "Oh, if you disable us, then you can't access it." That might be those would be the websites that are actually dependent on some data that they're trying to see. Okay, what you're the Amazon. I don't know if Amazon does it, but it's a kind of similar concept. You get related items and everything, right? So you are searching something and they're kind of storing that information, and then they transfer it over to themselves, and that kind of information is tied that okay, this person is going to search this, so I'm going to show these kind of things. Those are where are these coming from? These are coming from because you from your computer are making those requests, so somehow these are being transferred. Cookies is one of those ways.
And they sell those to outside parties too.
Right. We won't go into the detail of what they're doing, but this is the mechanism. So that's the point of cookies. Okay. Again, the other thing is traditionally cookies have been there, so almost every browser version supports cookies. Even though there might be a case where local storage is not supported or session storage API is not supported. Maybe for some reason you are using IE version 4 or 3. I don't know why, but cookies would be there. Okay, so that's kind of like a sure way if you're trying to capture some information. Okay, now since cookie is more traditional, when I show you the code, this is the real JavaScript, the weird JavaScript part. I mean, local storage and session storage, they're like too nice. Nice as in like it's such a nice API, correct names. It's called local storage with camel casing. It has good methods. Set item exactly tells me what it is. Get item tells me what it is, right? But that's not JavaScript, right? JavaScript is traditionally like bad at syntax and everything. And when I show you the cookie syntax, you will see how it is, because cookies have been traditionally there, and they were the ones. They were like the starting of local storage and all that stuff. Now, people get better, and they came up with these nicer APIs, but cookies, the syntax is still the same. It's confusing. It's difficult. They don't even have a built-in method to read any cookies. That's how bad it is. Okay, you have to write some functions to actually read the cookie or read the value that you're trying. And I'll show you the code. I can share that code. It's publicly available everywhere. But that's the point of cookies. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Yes.
Why do they call them cookies?
Good question. I don't know why they call it cookie. Again, this is JavaScript, right? This was like 1995, and they were like trying to get JavaScript into production. I don't know what to call this. Call it cookie. I don't know. I don't know why it's called cookie. It might there is a case there might be like a Linux term or something. Usually these things that you see are kind of carried over from mainframe programmers because they were the ones who wrote JavaScript. So a lot of the terms kind of carry over from mainframe world. So I don't know, maybe there's a term cookie in mainframe or
Maybe they wanted to name it something happy because it was kind of a scary food stuff.
yes. Yeah, they're such an innocent cookie. It can't do anything. Yeah. What harm can cookie bring? Right? All right. So no questions. So I'll show you some code. So how do you cookie is part of JavaScript again, and it's part of the document object. Okay. So again, I have the same code. Let me run this so that I don't have to come back here. In Chrome, as I mentioned, you go to your Applications tab, and then you should see a Cookies tab. Come on. Oh, because I did a side one. Where's my Applications? And then your Cookies tab. Okay. Right now it's empty, and maybe it's better if I change this. Okay, so you will see a lot more columns when it comes to cookies. Cookies are more flexible. You can do a lot different stuff that you can do with local storage and sessions. But I will give you the basic idea, and then you guys can research a little bit more if you're super interested in getting storing data in cookies. Okay, so as part of JavaScript, it's part of the document API. I'm calling it API because document, of course, is an object. Behind the scene, it has a lot more methods. And it's a property since you see it's in blue. Purple ones or pink ones are functions. Blue ones are properties or properties. So cookie is a property, and then you assign something, and then it will set that cookie. That's all. So for example, carrying our example from the previous one, if I'm trying to store something, before that, let me create some variables so I can store something. Let's say const. I'm going to store username. Let's suppose this is my username. Oops. Okay. And let's create a name as well. Okay. Now I want these to be stored in my cookies. So what do? It's document.cookie, and then you assign that string that you're trying to store. The string kind of goes in this format. I'm going to use template literals. I hope everybody is kind of making sense that what template literals do. But what you have to do is the same thing, key value pair. Okay? Key and then equal to some value. Okay? That's how the cookies work. Key is equal to, and my value is t start. So I'm going to store this variable t start. No, sorry. Username. Okay, and it has to be followed by a semicolon. This is inside the string. Remember this semicolon? Semicolon is how cookies separate different properties. And we'll look at some other properties, but this is how cookies separate those things out. Okay, this translates to basically creating a cookie called username. It's going to assign a value t start to it. That's what it should result in. Okay, let me go ahead and delete this because the code was running before I completed it. Refresh. Okay, so this is how you would create a cookie. Again, this is part of the document API, part of JavaScript. So you say it's a property. You say document.cookie username, the key, and then the value that you're trying to assign to it. And then this is how, if you go into your cookie tab, cookie section, you see the cookie over here. Okay, now it would make sense that if I want another property name over here, I should be able to do name and assign something. right? But again, remember that this is traditional JavaScript. It wasn't as fancy back in the day. So if you want to assign any other property, you actually have to do the same thing as you did previously. So you have to say name is equal to and the value. So it's not going to overwrite, it's going to actually add to that cookie. Let me delete this. Start again. Refresh. Okay. Remember in local storage it was overriding, but this is older way, or this is how JavaScript was back in the day. So what they do is if you reuse and then you assign a new value to it, it's going to add. This means behind the scene it is considering that you're trying to add a new cookie with a new key and a value. Oh, I forgot the semicolon. Yeah, semicolons. Okay. Any questions? What's the size? Yeah, the other difference between cookie and local storage is the size. Cookie itself, the alone file is 5 MB allowed, right? But still, it's more compared to the local storage. Local storage, 5 MB means that any site that has the same domain, you can have 5 MB storage. But for cookies, the whole file that you can transfer over itself individually, I think the maximum size is like 5 or 6 MB. You can store a lot more data in cookies. Okay. All right. From the syntax perspective, everybody understand this is how you set a cookie. If you want to set multiple keys, you have to reuse it and then put in the name over here. Okay. Now, I want to direct your attention. What is the lifespan of a cookie? How long does the cookie live? Okay. If you do not specify any time when you're creating a cookie, the lifetime of the cookie is session. What does this mean? If I close my browser, my session ends and my cookie gets deleted. That's what it means. Okay. By default, if you don't put any expiry time, it's going to it's going to put a default expiry time as a session. This means as soon as you close your browser, your cookies are going to be deleted. Okay. Now, but we don't want that, and we can put age or expiry time to our cookies. And how do we do that? There are two options. The first is called max age. Again, if you go to MDN documents and then search for document.cookie, you will have all those properties listed over there. I'll go through like two more, expiry and the maximum age, and show you guys what it means. Okay. So the other property is called max age. Called max age. The value for max age is the number of seconds. Okay, so you basically mention that my cookie is going to live for these many seconds. Okay, that's the number. So you give it a number, and that number translates to number of seconds. For example, if I say max age of this cookie is going to be 10 seconds. Okay, so after 10 seconds, if I refresh this, still go. After 10 seconds, if I refresh, my username is going to be deleted, and it's showing me the time. Okay, so refresh, it's deleted. Okay, how do I do that? Max age property. Okay, now semicolon is important because that's how JavaScript divides the property. The first one is the key. You cannot put any other key. Okay, the next ones are, these are predefined in your cookie. These are the properties that are predefined. These are the names. If you use something else, it's not going to work. One of them is called max dash or hyphen age. And for more, you can look at the MDM documents. They have a whole list of properties that you can use. One of them is max age, and then it takes in a number, and this number represents seconds. So if you put in 120, it's going to be 2 minutes, right? You can multiply and keep it for 1 year, like 60 into 60 into 3,600 seconds or something. You can put it over here. This cookie is going to live for that many seconds. Okay? As soon as those seconds are up, your cookie is going to be deleted from here. And that's what we saw. Okay? Any questions on this? Yes? Yes. Oh, no, there's another way I will show you. But if you are using this max age property, then yes, this is the only way. You have to put change that year into number of seconds, 16 to 16 to 60, and then put it over here. And this means it's going to do it for 1 year. Right? But there's a different way also. Okay? Um, any questions on this? This was the easier one. That's what I showed you. The other one is a little bit more tricky. All right? So the other method is the property is called expires. Okay. In this property, you can mention the date, the exact date and time that you want this cookie to be deleted. Okay. Now, the important point over here is the time is calculated in UTC or GMT, Universal Time Zone. It's not your time zone that you are living in. It's you have to mention the time that follows UTC. Okay. So how do I find it? Just Google what is the current time in UTC. That's what the time that you have to mention over here. So, for example, let's see UTC. So UTC time. Should I have said UTC? No. So right now it's 8:05 p.m. Saturday, September 21. That's the date or time that you have to refer to if you're putting your expiry date in your cookie. Okay. One of the reasons is it's universal, because if you put in your time, it gets confusing. The browser has to do too much and try to understand. If somebody who's not in Arizona opens your website, then what happens? Is it their time? Is it your time? I don't know what's going on. So that's why they came up with this. This time is same everywhere, irrespective. Okay, so that's why they go by this time. Okay. So right now UTC is 8:05. If I want this to expire in maybe 2 minutes, like 1:08 p.m. I don't know if I can type that fast to get there. So it's going to be Saturday, comma 21 September 2019, and then this is going to be our military time. So let's say 000000 UTC, and I'll come back and change it. So current time is 8:05 p.m. So that is 16. What is it? 16. So 16, and let's see. Did I miss it? 20. Okay. So let's go back and there is, so this is the name one, and this will be deleted in 1 minute. Okay. Doesn't expand. September 21st, 2700. I think that's the correct format. Okay, so this is the other way. This is where you can specify the exact date, time, but this is the syntax. The day, the name of the day, okay, and then the date, and then the month, 3-letter month, year, and then the time in UTC. All right, any questions? So these are the two ways you can set an expiry date to your cookies. Okay. Now, is there a way to delete a cookie? Right. Remember the storage method APIs have such nice methods, but again, as I said, there's no delete method in a cookie. How would you delete a cookie? No, from the code. From the code. Any idea? We are actually just looking at it. How do we delete a cookie? Huh? Save the? Yes, change the time. Put it into a older time, and this will delete the cookie. Remember what happens as soon as the expiry date reaches, it deletes your cookie. If you want to clear your cookies, you can set um, a time in pass that will make sure that the cookie gets deleted, right? You can put yesterday's date, and this cookie will be deleted. For example, if I do 20 and I refresh, it's gone, it's deleted, right? But from standard, you will see uh, this time when somebody is trying to delete a cookie. Thursday, January 1st, 1970. This is for sure a date in the past that will guarantee that your cookie is deleted. That's why if you see this code somewhere, the purpose of this code is they're trying to delete a cookie. This is how you delete a cookie. Now, where is this date coming from? Again, it's from mainframe. I think this is the start date of Linux computers, and that's why they put it over there. Traditionally, but the concept over here is any date that is in the past will delete your cookie. Okay, this is a little bit standard that if any programmer sees your code in this means you are trying to clear your cookies. That's all it means. That's why they're using this date. But you can use any date in the past. Yes.
Where is it, like, understanding that, your current time, where is it getting that?
Yes. Yes. It gets from your computer, converts into UTC time, and then compares it. And
What if I were to,
yeah, give it a try. It's getting to, it will be different. Yeah, whatever it gets converted into UTC time. It doesn't matter what date it is. Yeah. Okay. Again, to set a cookie, this is how you do it. If you want to delete your cookie, you set it to a past date. Right? There is no delete method. You cannot delete a cookie just calling it local storage or like cookie.delete or remove. Okay, that's how you have to do it. You have to trick into basically kind of cheat your way and say, oh, delete my cookie. Okay, now, yes.
Is it standard practice to clear the value as well, or like the name?
Standard practice to clear. So this will actually delete the whole key. Is that what you're?
Like if you set names or nothing.
Oh, named and I think yeah. So what Ethan has pointed out, that's a good one. So what you will see is keep that document dot cookie. Let's suppose I'm trying to delete the name. Standard practice you will see is set it to something empty. Okay, that's what he's pointing out. But even if it remains, you guys know that it's going to be deleted anyway. But the standard practice, Ethan, thank you, he pointed out was that this clearly shows my intention, what I'm trying to do. So if somebody looks at my code, they see this and they're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to delete a cookie with this key. That's what it means. Okay. Now, let's comment this out because we don't want to delete it. We will console log our cookie so that you guys can see what all it has. Right now I just have one cookie, so let's go ahead and console log our cookie dot document. Oh, document dot cookie. Okay, so this is what I have in my cookie and this is what it outputs. Exactly the complete string. So if I put in a second one, where's my second one? Let's keep this. Shouldn't expire. The comma name. Okay. So as you have multiple keys, this is how they show up. Yes, Josh.
So same with creating a cookie, you need to like redo the document about cookie. You have to do the same thing to delete it. You can't just have it come out.
No, you have to do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to only delete the one that you're trying to delete. Yeah, it will delete by the key. Same thing. Okay, this is how it outputs. Now, remember in local storage and session storage, we have nice methods saying get item, and it actually gets me the value, right? If I'm trying to just get the value for username, right? I don't care about the name right now. I just want this value. There is no method in cookie. You cannot do it, right? So But what you can do is this comes back as a string. With my knowledge, do I know I can parse this string? I can. I can parse it, split it on equal to and commas and get two values. Like first time I'm going to split this on semicolon and get these two values. And then each one I can split by equal to and get this value. String parsing. Okay, by default, cookies, the document API for JavaScript cookie, there is no method to get the value. Okay, you cannot get it. This is the only way you can do it. You can do a document dot cookie and it's going to output literally everything over here with the equal to separated by semicolons. Okay, now how do we do it? I'll share the code. What the code does is it takes this as a string and then uses the string methods to split this by semicolon. So you get these two, then it splits by equal to so that you can get the value and kind of goes through it and gives you the value. Okay, that's all it does. Because there's no default, there's no built-in function, so we have to write that function. Okay. Um, Let me again, this is copied from outside. This is not like I have written this code. Okay, you can find people have written this code called read cookie. Again, what it is doing, you pass in the name. The name is either this or this, whatever your key is, and it will return you the value. Basically what it does is it does some string parsing and gets the value back. Okay, again, this function is not important to understand, but I mean take a look at it. But what is important is how to use that function. So I can say console log and then call that function, which I said is, these are template literals. Name is going to be, and then I call my function called read cookie that I define on the top, and then I need to pass in what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get name, and it's going to pull the name out of it. That's all it does. Okay, if I want the username, same thing, just call that function. Again, this is, I'm using template literals, but it's the same thing as doing this. And you pass in username because that's my other key, and it will return you the username that is there. What happened? Oops. Console log this. And this should give you the user. Okay. Again, the read cookie method is something that we have written, or you guys, I'm going to share the same code. You can keep copy pasting this code. All it does is you pass in the key. I will change this to a key. Don't do it right now. No, not this one. Oh no, okay, just two. So key. Basically, you're passing in a key, and then you are getting a value back. Okay, so you pass in a key, name or username, and then you get a value back. That's all this function does. Again, what is going in the function? It's just using string parsing, right? Why? Because there is no built-in get value function with when it comes to cookies. Okay. Any question? Does everybody understand the get cookie part? There is no method. This is something that we have written. I'm going to share this code. You can keep copy pasting in your code. If you're using cookies, you can call this function, you pass in the key, it will return you the value, just like I did over here. Okay? Questions? Okay, so good exercise is we are working on the sign-in page. So we start with the local storage, we change it to session storage. Now go ahead and change it to using cookies. Instead of session storage, do cookies, and I'll share the read cookie code with you on Slack. You guys can use the same function. And I even change it to key, so that's even more easier to understand. All right, where is class activities? Okay, so there's a function for reading the cookies, and just change it and save the names in your cookie instead of local storage or session storage. Let's go back here. These are the methods. You can try maximum age or expiry time, kind of play around with it, make sure you understand the date format. Expiry, what else? Let's see, this is exercise number 7. The same sign-in page, instead of using session storage, see if you can store that in cookies. So, let me open my activity from the previous one. Sign in persistence. I've select out the time format also, um, for the expires. Update it with the date that you want.
Which one she said?
The sign-in one, the one that we've been working on from the local storage. We started with the local storage, then change it to session storage, the same exercise. And then change it to now using cookies instead of session storage. So since there's no clear method, this is where you will be putting your expiry document dot cookie to set it to expire, since there's no clear method. Or you can create a clear method and then call that. Let me copy over the read cookie. Let's see this now. Read cookie. There is my read cookie method, and I'm going to change this to key. This is the example that I used. If you guys want reference. Got the cookies working? Awesome. Let's see. So I can't use the session storage.clear or cookie.clear. So the only way to clear the cookie is put an expiry date. So document.cookie. And then, so what cookie am I trying to clear is name. So I can just use this should clear my name cookie. Then I want to clear my email as well. So same code clears the email. And then same code clears the age and comment. Okay, so you can create a function also, and then put in all the clear over there and call that function clear cookie clear cookies, and then just move all of this inside that. Okay, and then call that function over here. Where did I copy it from? Oh, okay, forgot. Where's my session? So I'm logging the names after here. So I'm going to say clear cookies function. Okay, custom function. Inside the function it clears, so it kind of saves me some space. All I'm doing is setting it to expiry, setting these values to empty, and that's how I would declare cookies in JavaScript. Okay, there's no set item, so I can't use this. So it has to be document dot cookie is equal to, let's use our template literals, name is equal to dollar and expression, and that's going to be my name variable. Okay, I'm not going to put an expiry date. This means as soon as I close my browser, this should be deleted. Okay, let's do the email document dot cookie and template literals. Email is equal to dollar expression, and this is my email. So this is done. Next would be age. So document dot cookie is equal to age. Okay, so age is done. Don't need this anymore. Last one is comment. Document dot cookie. Cookie. All right. This would be comment, and then the expression, store the comment, and this is done. Okay, this will store my cookies. Let's see, now we can console log this over here, and we can kind of see our cookies. Document dot cookie. So this one I'm going to get all my cookies, and we can see on our console. So instead of get item, there's no get item, so I will have to get these from the cookie. So I can create some, well, let main cookie value, and then use the function read cookie, and then pass in the key, which is name, and this will get me value for the name. Then let email cookie value read cookie function, pass in the key, which is email. This will get me the cookie value. Let age cookie value is equal to read cookie age. Okay, last one, comment cookie value is equal to read cookie comment. Okay, don't need these session storage anymore, so I'm going to remove these, and these will be replaced with our variables name cookie value. Okay, same thing over here. This is going to be email cookie value. This is going to be age cookie value, and then comment cookie value. Make sure I'm getting the cookies, setting it over here. This is coming from my HTML, so don't have to worry about that. This comes up from the page load, and it should show me these values. Okay. Any questions? Were you guys able to get to this part? No? What was that? Okay, what about it? Show the function. Yeah, remember I pasted on Slack. You can copy paste it. Uh, Basically, it's just doing string parsing, kind of breaking your string into colon and equal to and getting that value back. Let's go back. Okay. Any questions on this? Good. Okay. So the last exercise is, remember we did the to-do list. That's still lonely and still there's no persistence. So for the remainder of the time, you guys are going to work on the to-do list and use local storage. Okay. I think in your homework you probably have to use local storage, but in your to-do list, if you were able to complete the solution, then use that, or the TAs have pushed the solution up to GitLab or they have stacked it out also. Take that solution. The to-do list one, remember you refresh the page, it doesn't store anything. Use local storage and complete that activity. That would be the last activity, okay? Don't worry about the cookies or session. Use local storage to complete that activity. To-do list. Let's go back and open that. To-do list, non-persistent, unsolved. Okay, so take a look at it. Make sure you understand it again. What are the HTML and what you are trying to save to local storage. And then the testing is, if you refresh it, the to-do list should still be there. Right now, if you refresh it, kind of goes away. Either use the solution provided, or if you were able to complete, use that, and use local storage to save the values. The first part is to identify what you are going to save, and then what you're going to retrieve from local storage. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and tell me. Yeah.
You guys can work together to look for groups if you want this one. So you're not wanting to do that. So here, this is where the here is, so that's and then you don't have to put that, but if you want to avoid
So if you guys reached a solution something like this, simple one, stores key value pair, that could be like a starting point. All I did was I added a key, remember the data attribute. So this is going to be unique, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's already doing it. I just used a set item for this one. And then it stores the value. If you refresh it, the value is still here. Okay, it doesn't show up over here. I still need to write that code. But this, if you are doing this, it's okay, but it's not like the best solution. If you guys want anybody using arrays to store that data, okay, trying. Okay, that's a good way, because this is going to, the list is going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you have to figure out. But you can store all of this in an array also, and then put it in your in your local. But remember, you can only store strings. Okay, array is not a string. So eventually you'll have to convert that array into a string and then store it. So you'll have a key. Um, you can have just one key. Key would be, that's supposed to do this. And the values of this key would be all your items separated by comma, as in array. So this would be a string in your local storage. Okay. How do you convert an array to a string? Remember that JSON stringify method that we were using? Take a look at that. That should help you. JSON.stringify, and if you pass an array, it's going to convert the whole array into a string, and you can store that whole thing in your to-do list, in your local storage. So this way, you are always going to have just one key, and everything would be part of that. All your to-do list versus this thing, because this thing will keep growing. It's kind of hard to keep track of it. When you're trying to get it back from local storage, a better way would be to save all these to-dos in an array, one big array, and then push it to your local storage. Okay? And again, you cannot store an array in local storage, so you will have to convert the array into a string. And you're going to use JSON.stringify method, pass in that array, and that should convert it into a string. Okay, kind of follow that pattern. I'm going to push the solution later on. I won't solve it. I want you guys, this is a little bit of a challenge activity. Once you go through the previous ones, take a look at this one and try to solve it in the array form. This is okay, but it's kind of difficult to keep track. And there might be a case where this would be overridden. For example, if I refresh it and then add a new item, you will see it's going to update the item 0. So that's the problem that this kind of runs into. That array thing will help you kind of resolve this kind of issues. Okay, that's the last activity. Please go back and look at it. We'll do server-side storage on Tuesday and Thursday. Again, if you think this is difficult, just wait until Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to look at Firebase database, and we are going to be storing, going back to JavaScript using callback function, and storing our data from our JavaScript code into our Firebase cloud store. Okay, we'll see you guys on Tuesday.